Gravel by California here for round 2 of our Scented Series reunion tour. Now, last time, San Fernando Brewing Company was such an excellent host, people wanted to come back, but with a different route. Fortunately, there's plenty of choices here. Today, we're going to go in the San Fernando Valley's version of the mystery spot as we roll through Gravity Hill. Next, we're going to go through some punchy hills over Oliver Canyon, where we get to dip our toes in the Tujunga Wash. And if all goes to plan, we'll be able to phone home about our last experience. Let's roll. Our second Send It looked a lot bigger than our previous meetup as we rolled out of San Fernando Rec Park, as combining our party and potent pacers was a late decision, missing some of our vets, but one I wasn't too worried about, as the average speed between the two groups was similar on our previous outing. As the group made it across Foothill Boulevard, we leaned into our first big effort of the day, a 2.5 mile climb up Lopez Canyon. I don't know what's worse on this, the climb or the wind. The bottom of Lopez Canyon is shaded as the pitch crescendos up. But while we were initially progressing at a relaxed tempo, keeping things conversational, temperatures were still comfortable, but our workflow changed as the foliage and neighborhood receded, getting ready to double our efforts on the spin. Okay, the elements are real, but it is super cool to have a road like this that's not too well traveled. Kind of a new hallmark for our Send It rides. It's a good thing this is a glass half full group. With the wind and grade now conspiring enemies, the hairpin signals the steeper final pitch, where your effort strangely eases up as the tailwinds assist on your progress to the peak of this climb. The collective now made our move off of pavement, as at 5 miles in, the group looked 5 miles long, as we hit our first piece of dirt, heading onto the Kagel truck trail. Our timing hit the jackpot as we experienced this in its final throes of a San Fernando spring, avoiding just enough overgrowth as we were waist deep in California gold accents, but being immersed in this unexpected beauty with a surface that took some extra grippage. Everyone was having such a good time on this climb that it surprised a lot of people that it was just over a half mile. As everyone collected at the top, instead of continuing this arduous climb on the truck trail, we made our way back down to pavement with a super short connector that was a little loose, but a nice change up. Even though we soon hit the gate, it took longer to cross than the downhill itself. The payoff was a couple miles without a brake check, making our way through this residential tucked way back, as gravel bikes are a good choice here, as city services may have had trouble finding this spot. But as our speeds started to max out, we unceremoniously blew over Gravity Hill, where you can say Sir Isaac Newton's legacy may be safe, as, it might not be a compelling story. We drifted to Dexter Park, where the group made a quick stop, where we had bathroom and water all to ourselves, before making it to our next part of dirt on the adjoining fire road. This little gem might not show up on your heat map, but it's nice to find these short pockets of these miniature gems around the valley. But as we came up to the split, let me discuss a hypothetical apology for an imaginary scenario about not taking a more viable route, as possibly the fault of making these last-minute itinerary adjustments, which is a lot of mentioning for something that may or may not have happened. technical difficulties as my video jumped ahead to Little Tujunga, as we soon veered off onto the A.B. Herrera's Trek Trail, where our longest backroads adventure would begin. We were narrowed into a short climb, with the tougher Oak Canyon ascent ahead of us. But passing the nascent construction site, the Oliver Canyon turnoff lays just behind, luring you into some temporary enjoyment, as these rollers are short-lived. This was the most straining portion of the day, as this was a mile averaging 10%, with the lower third well above that, as you'll be using just one gear the whole time. And while your head may be facing down, this climb does present many unique angles, as this portion of the Angeles National Forest is losing its spring battle with summer. Passing the cistern signaled the end of this effort, and it was good news I was still seeing smiles, as I thought this was the moment the mob might off me.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. I mean, I know it's probably your best ride ever, but it's even better than that.
It's better than that.
I know. Yeah. It's beyond your wild imagination.
We're calling it the Zach Cobbler.
With Troy Templin leading the way on his earth mover, the next 2 miles were distinctly up or down, and also distinctly fun, as we had a chance to open up a bit and breathe in between too. As we converged at this busy intersection, crossing the mountain bike friendly Dark Larson Trail, we still had descending for another 2 miles down the East Fork of the A.B. Canyon Trail, which, while playful, still required a good amount of attention, as I lost my bottle to prove my point. But regardless of the conditions, there's something about riding untraveled roads just beyond the envelope of one of the largest urban areas, and having this type of rural enjoyment. As we merged onto Oro Vista, the surface trended as being choppier and had a propensity for abandoned vehicles, as we hit a more gingerly mood navigating the end. Now, river crossings are essentially the puppy bowl of gravel, as the Tujunga Wash was today's playground, which happened to be deeper than 2 weeks ago. But I don't think depth was a concern for this crowd, nor hearing loss from the soon coming squeaky brakes, as I was just happy to stay above the fray, letting slow motion take over. Leaving our water world with a little wiggling to get out, this van was no mirage, as Will was stationed at the perfect spot, with water chilled at the ideal temperature, which was greatly appreciated, as we were just beyond the halfway point, as we made quick work up Big Tujunga Canyon, which could have been a good bailout point, but the group was hanging strong, as I didn't have much of a choice. Everyone looked alive as we turned off onto the Graveyard Truck Trail, which is a bit of a misnomer, as the grade was friendlier than our other sustained climbs, as this fire road circles underneath Mount Lukens, and everyone seemed to find a rhythm, as it's my vote for the steadiest dirt of the day, but with the downside being the exposure, the upsell are the views beyond, as the name switched to the more proper Rim of the Valley Trail just as we hit our turnoff point. We diverged onto some single track, which, while a brief encounter, I would still bet someone made this a Strava segment. But I knew the group would be funneling, as no one took the stair challenge, as this final climb had double meaning.
This is our last real climb of the day. It's a lot easier if you have a basket and an alien inside of it.
Coming across this landmark movie location, we may not all be on top of pop culture.
On the count of three, say E.T. 1, 2, 3.
That tone didn't instill confidence. One thing I was confident about was that everyone was looking to get back to the brewery. Even though we had the last third of the ride left, I knew these miles would pound off as we made quick work going down the side streets of Tujunga. And if there was going to be any out of the way dirt, I was going to find it, connecting us with the last 8 miles of our previous route as we jumped down to the Tujunga Wash again, as it looked like everyone had a hop in their step, dropping in for some sloshy amusement on this 1.5 mile off-road section, which I've never been able to distinguish between dirt and sand because it has the fun elements of both, swishing to and fro, knowing that speed helps you keep your line, just hoping everybody knows where we're headed. Our last bit of off-roading unceremoniously ended, but that didn't sour the mood as the last few miles melted away, as spirits were still at an all-time high, presenting greetings and salutations, rolling into the San Fernando Brewery, as once again playing an excellent host, even leaving with some souvenirs to wrap up another Send It.
So the problem with these Send It rides is that they're so much fun, I forget to shoot outros, just like last one. Anyways, there were a lot of things I didn't know were gonna happen well or not well, but combining two groups worked out super fantastic. I mean, it was great to ride with everyone, and even though this route got shortened just a little, came out perfectly. San Fernando Brewing, once again, great location to host, and we'll be back here soon. Anyways, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button so you can support us, so we can show you more videos and me holding sunglasses. See you later.